Okay, recording in progress. All right. So welcome back. It's been a while, everyone, to Star Trek Next Frontier. Tonight debuts episode 4. Episode 4. I will give you the title of the episode after the first mission is done. So no spoilers up until then. How's that? But welcome back. Let's go to roll 20 real quick, and let's just do a quick catch up here. After the last episode with the whole Mainu and their disease, and after the debate, the captain finally agreed. It was a split between the senior staff, basically, of whether to give the Mainu the cure or to just return them as they were and just return them back to their system rather than let them drift alone in space and die. But the captain sided with the side going heavy on the prime directive that cannot introduce anything foreign that could alter the course of the galaxy of their society, and opted to have them return to their stasis pods, but the pods would be returned to orbit of their home system. Were a cure ever found, they would be freed by their own people, or if they were to ever be unthawed from their cryostasis, it would be discovered that they themselves had been cured and the cure could be found for them, but it would have to happen in a natural way. So that's what the captain opted. That was a couple months back. That was a few months back. So getting the ship not really repaired, but you did suffer a lot of the damage because of just how turbulent the space can be in the Shackleton Expanse. And you had a lot of systems that got worn out through the chaotic disturbances out there. So you spent a little bit of time on the starbase before heading back out. So it's been you've been in space now for about a month again, but it's been about a couple months since the last episode. Everyone okay with that?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Just to make sure I remember correctly.
Yes.
Lieutenant Drake is security. Lieutenant Jeremy Manning is
Ooh, I didn't fix that.
is piloting. Lieutenant Darius Alder is science.
Yes.
Lieutenant Adagia is medical, and Lieutenant Bellick is engineering.
Yes,
Okay.
Lieutenant Commander Bellick. So he's the next,
Lieutenant.
next highest ranking out of the senior staff next to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Yes, but that's correct. I remember it well, Commander. Okay. And yeah, it has been a while. So is there anything else anyone wants to refresh their memories on or catch up on before I go into the first scene? Just want to make sure. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off this episode with the USS DEGRASSE TYSON is back on a routine patrol and exploration in the Shackleton Expanse. The Dominion War is still probably just about on the brink of ending, just about on the very brink of ending, and normalcy will be returning to the Alpha and Beta quadrants soon. But for right now, the DEGRASSE TYSON and a couple other very low important science vessels are really the only ones that are now exploring the Shackleton Expanse. So you basically have this whole area of space to yourself for the time being, and you've been spending the past month cataloging new systems, interacting with the different species that are in this area that, of course, are not part of the Federation, not part of the Klingon Empire or anything, but the different spacefaring races that are there, as well as more well-known races from the beta and alpha quadrants that are also using the unknown aspect of the Shackleton Expanse for their own means, to explore, to profit from, as you met with the Ferengi months ago. So there's a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces too. You had recently, about a week or so back, visited a station that serves as a trading post for the sector, where you can encounter a lot of the different species from this area, as well as, again, the Ferengi, the Klingons, and any other species that you might know of that are also operating in this area. It was a chance for a little bit of R&R and to get off the ship, stretch your legs for a bit, but it was no Risa, let's say that. It's not a great vacation planet. It's just a place where you go, maybe pick up a knick-knack here and there, pick up some leads for what's in the sector, share some knowledge. And that was done, came back. The captain seemed to have found something very interesting during this stop at the trading post. And Commander Lulk, Captain Saavek, confided in you just the other day that while she was there, she learned of a planet, more of a moon in nearby region, that one of the merchants that she met at this trading post introduced her to a very remarkable plant that the merchant claimed is found on this moon. It has a lot of really potent healing qualities that the merchant said that in his culture it's used a lot for making medicines, for applying to treatments for already known diseases and known medicines, that it really enhances a lot of the curative elements of many different medical procedures. And the captain was very interested in that, but there's really no telling just how good it is, how potent it is, or even how accurate the information is, because the merchant did not have a sample on hand. So the captain said that while it's of personal interest to her, it would not be worth diverting the DeGrasse Tyson from its current mission, from its current course of charting the sector it's in. So she tells you that she is going to take a shuttle and make a little journey to check out the validity of this claim and to see if she could obtain a sample of this plant while the DeGrasse Tyson continues on its mission, which currently it's observing a pre-warp civilization that is getting close to the brink of discovering warp drive. So they have a very basic space system, or a space exploration system going on, but they're not quite at that point yet. So the DeGrasse Tyson is going to be spending time scanning that area, just keeping an eye on them while she takes this little side journey. So
Okay.
she wants to, of course, leave you in command while she does that. And she calls the senior staff together to for the regular briefing and to say that she's going to be going away on this. And she asks for Lieutenant Thadagia, being a pilot as well as a trained medic, to join her on this journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And she says that also because they don't know what they're going to find on this moon, although it's uninhabited, it would likely be wise in Starfleet regulations to take along an escort, especially because it's the captain going on the mission. So she also asked for Lieutenant Drake to accompany them on this mission.
Forward to it, man.
And with that said, she announces that she would like to leave right away. So she tells Lieutenants Thadagia and Drake to prepare their things. She dismisses the meeting and she tells the two of them to meet her in the shuttle bay in 1 hour. Okay. The rest of the crew, of course, is going to be assigned to the regular patrol until then. So while we do this 1 hour of the lieutenants and the captain preparing, I want to just give you all a chance, because it's been so long, to any kind of role-playing scene or social scene you would like to create or discuss with each other, or to introduce something of your character before things kick off. So anyone's free to call for that while I get the maps ready on here.
Well, I'm going to be mostly packing, so I'm not sure how much time I will have.
Well, if I may, I'd like to start a short scene with Lieutenant Alder. Maybe if I see him in a common area, mess hall or something as such.
Okay.
Let me grab my thing here quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Or actually, I guess I should ask more directly or outside of the game, because my character should know this. Alder is human, right?
Alder
Yes.
is human, I believe.
Okay.
So let's see. Darius Alder, you would be in the mess hall. What would you be doing in the mess hall there?
You see, that's exactly what I'm trying. Oh, okay. Sorry, I've just found the paper or whatever I needed. Well, I would be in the mess hall, taking part in sitting in front of a Calto set, if that's the correct pronunciation. Potentially looking for opponents, but at the same time, sort of just playing around with the set and taking some time to practice some strategies of Calto while I'm waiting there.
There we go. Let me open up the mess hall. So let's do the scene in there since we have that. All right. If you're on roll 20, I have Lieutenant Alder sitting at a table playing with a Vulcan Calto game. He's obviously playing alone. I put Commander Locke in there, so you are free to move about.
Okay.
Commander Locke, you wouldn't perhaps be interested in a game of Calto, would you? I know it's potentially maybe a bit too slow moving for a Klingon such as yourself, but I'm always keen for new people to play against.
Oh, Lieutenant Alder, that's no human game now, is it?
No, I was just hoping to expand my horizons, try something new.
I'm actually here to do quite the same, though it seems to be in a slightly different direction than your horizons.
How so, sir?
Well, you're human, yes, and you hail from Earth.
Yes.
All right, well, some of the other crew have made it obvious that my experience as you may know, part human might not be as sufficient for me to claim to be human. So I've been hoping that I might speak with you and you might help me to understand better what life is like on Earth.
Oh, that's a rather broad topic for me to take. So I suppose
Well, I have a proposal then.
Okay.
Perhaps when we have a little more free time, then you could meet me on the holodeck and show me one of your favorite places or pastimes on Earth, something that we might not have back on my home world.
Okay, I think I've got a few good ideas of some Earth activities that might give you a new perspective on human life back on Earth. Give me a bit of time to work something out, to program a nice little holodeck activity, and I'll let you know when it's ready.
Excellent. So, in the meantime, what is this? What did you call it? Polytoad?
Oh, Polytoad. This is Calto. I believe it's very much in vogue with Vulcans. It's a rather strategic game, as I believe, like solving puzzles is a yes. I mean, I'm sure Klingons would admire the fact that not only is battle the active fighting, but also the planning beforehand that makes battle so.
Fight with these little pieces. How could you hurt a man with one of these?
That's the beauty of this game. I mean, you hit them in their mind rather than their body.
Of course, it's a Vulcan game. Always using.
Yeah.
Never
very much so. If you're ever keen to give it a try at some point and we have the downtime, please let me know. Or, of course, if you have anyone else in the ship in mind for a game, that you can just send them my way at any point.
All right. Well, we've got a few minutes now. How about you show me the rules? And I'll just sit down to...
Sure. Well, I'm sure we can skip over that part, right?
Yeah. Okay, wait, that's a good place to phase that out there. Yeah, so I made a note of that for the holodeck program and the sharing of that. There, that's good. All right, that's something to build into later on. All right, does anyone else want to kick off something before the scene launches? You're good, Drake.
Packing now today.
Okay, good. Alex, okay. Thishran, you're okay. All right. Then let's see here. Then let's just fast forward ahead. We got that one down. Thank you. Let me open that window again on Roll20 and Shuttle Bay. There we go. All right. So everyone should be able to see the shuttle bay. It's been about 1 hour. So Lieutenant Thadagia, Lieutenant Drake, you are there. You're bringing your equipment. The captain has told you that it is the moon is supposed to be an icy moon, so you've all packed warmly, I would imagine. Bringing your gear, standard issue stuff. I would imagine nothing out of the ordinary. As you're loading it all into the shuttle bay doors open again, and this time Lieutenant Thishran comes walking in to the shuttle bay. The captain's putting her things away, and she looks over at the lieutenant coming in and turns her visor towards him and said, "Yes, Lieutenant, is there a problem?"
Yes, Captain. I wouldn't exactly call it a problem, but I would like to include myself in this particular away mission, if at all possible.
She steps up to you, meets you halfway into the shuttle bay. Oh, I assure you that Lieutenant Thadagia is a capable enough pilot.
Thadagia is more than qualified to pilot the shuttle, but Captain, I have a personal interest in this particular mission.
Okay. Do you lower your voice when you say this, or are you still talking loud enough that?
I'm loud enough that anyone can hear it.
Okay, so then she's not going to come any closer, so she's just going to treat it like a regular conversation. Personal issue. And what personal matter might you have on an icy moon?
Captain, I've just, it's my understanding that this moon has all kinds of things on it that has healing properties, and that's something that I've taken a personal interest in. And it would be very, very beneficial for me to be there to study it with you, Captain. Honestly, I'm almost begging you at this point.
She stands there as stoic as Vulcans always are, just looking you down through her visor, leaning heavily on her cane. And finally, she taps her comm badge. Commander Locke, this is the captain.
Locke speaking.
I'm afraid there's been a slight change to my mission. I will also be requiring the use of Lieutenant Thashran.
Understood. Is everything all right?
Oh, yes, Commander. Everything is just fine here. I'm sure you will have no problems on your mission without our chief flight officer.
I love piloting the ship.
Do your best, Commander. We will be departing shortly.
As always, have a safe trip, Commander.
Thank you.
Captain.
Either way. I'm
Captain,
good enough.
Captain Saavek, thank you. It means more than you understand.
I see you've already packed your things, so I figured you assumed that you were going to get your way anyhow.
Yes, Captain. Thank you.
All right. Well, take your place. We're about to leave. Okay, Drake and Thadagia, you see Thashran now coming with you. You've heard clearly that he has a personal interest in it, but all three of you load up onto the shuttle bay with the captain.
Give a nod. Good to have you along.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Okay, then I would assume that Thashran, you would be the one doing the piloting then, since that is your main thing, correct?
I wouldn't trust anybody else.
Definitely not. And then Thadagia, you would be a backup pilot if it was needed. And Lieutenant Drake, you're just there to pew things if any pew is necessary, right?
Ooh.
All right. So the shuttle takes off and heads off on its way, and then we get our opening credit sequence with the titles, and it's all exciting, and the DeGrasse Tyson's flying everywhere. So let's now go. Let's fast forward to after the commercial break. We have the DeGrasse Tyson. You are I would say close to the orbit of that pre-warp civilization, monitoring them from afar. Typical for Shackleton Expanse. There's a lot of disturbance. There's a lot of different anomalies and gravimetric fluxes and everything that's happening there. So it's really hard to always get good, accurate scans, as you well know by this point. But of course, the DeGrasse Tyson has advanced sensors, so it's one of the best ships for this region of space. But while you're all there on the bridge, let me set you up. We're going to have Lieutenant Alder, you'll be working on the bridge station as well, especially since short-handed as usual. Let's see, Commander Locke, you'll be in the captain's seat because you are captaining at this point. So while you're on the bridge, can I get from Mr. Alder? Can you give me a sensors roll? Let's start off with our scan.
Oof.
Let's do our first roll.
Okay,
So
now.
I know you're going to want a pep talk. And Lieutenant Velic, can you roll for the ship for us? So let's test out our rolling. It's been a few months. So open up
Do a barrel
Velic.
roll.
What's that? Do a barrel roll.
Do a
Yeah.
barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll. So Lieutenant Velic, open up the DeGrasse Tyson's character sheet, and then Lieutenant Alder, you could have your character sheet. So let's see, you are going to be doing a control and science roll, if you will.
Man, Bull, you're gonna have to walk me through this again. So
Will
control
do.
science
So click on control and click on
Oh,
science. Okay.
I forgot we need to open this in game as such, right? In roll 20.
Yes. Yeah. So you'll open your sheet in roll 20. And then Lieutenant Velic, same thing. If you can open up the DeGrasse Tyson sheet.
Got it
And
open.
then we'll be doing, click on sensors and click on science. Click on sensors and click on science.
Science.
Well,
Okay.
how do we I need to refresh my mind. How do we actually open a character sheet in roll 20?
You just
Maybe
double
the
click on your
similar.
name. You should just be able to double click on your name and it opens up like the window, and
Is
then
it?
character sheet is, I think, the middle tab there.
That's weird.
and-
If I double click on my name as in the Lieutenant Darius Older right at the bottom of that page.
Not
Not
the
at the
page,
bottom of the
on
page.
yeah. On
sorry, on the
on the sidebar. On the side, you'll have to open up
Sidebar.
on the right side at the top.
Yeah.
Here,
think
have a
the-
look at my screen. I can show you how it's done here. You click here on the side. You click on this icon here at the top, this newspaper-like icon. So this is
Okay,
the chat.
hold on. Let me switch to that. Newspaper icon. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that one right here, and then you find your character,
Okay.
and then when you click on them, there'll be 3 tabs: one bio info and one for character sheet. So you click on the character sheet one, and that's where you make all the selections.
Nice. Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Control science. Ironically enough, that's the last roll I did do. Control science. Yeah. Okay. So, Bull. Then, in terms of the actual rolling,
Okay, so then on the side, hang on a second. Then on to the right of that, it says focus use. So, is there any focus that applies on your sheet? It's just a regular sensors roll. So, I'm not sure what else you had. Like looking here, astrophysics probably. So, I would say yes. Focus use.
yeah.
So do focus use yes, click on yes. Complication range is 1, so you just want to click on 1. That's just a regular one. And then task roll, that's how many dice you're rolling. So it's a 2, standard 2, unless you are going to buy extra dice, which right now you don't have any momentum. You don't start the game with any momentum, but you could buy with threat. But again, I would not recommend doing that right now for a simple sensor roll. Also, I just want to say to everyone, for the record, because there's 6 players, I start with 12 threat, okay? Because 2 per player. So just as a matter of notice. Okay, and then task roll is 2, and then you just click the Starfleet badge in front of the task roll number, like between the task roll number, and that rolls for you.
Okay, let's see, because I remember the layout on mine is screwed up actually. So I've actually got like 2 buttons. One
it would be
It would be
the
2, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it would be the first of the 2 because the other one would be for challenge dice. And then Perry, same thing with the ship. It's just focus use yes. The ship always has a focus use. Complication range 1, task roll 1 because the ship is assisting, so it's 1, and then you roll the Starfleet Delta. Okay, so there's our first roll. Let's take a look in there, and now here's the thing: the roll itself, it was typically a roll is going to be a difficulty of 0, but there's subspace interference, which is making it a difficulty of 1. However, the DeGrasse Tyson has advanced sensors, which knocks that down the difficulty, which makes that a 0 again. And combined, you got 4 successes, which means you've passed and you've banked 4 momentum, which I just dropped on my lap. So the ship now has 4, or the crew, you all have 4 momentum to use. Okay. It's been a while since we did all this. All that makes sense to everyone? We good? Okay. All right. So first roll successfully made. So Lieutenant Alder, you're just monitoring the sensors of the planet, and you start to detect a strange signal that's cutting through the interference, a strange signal that's coming from what it looks like nearby a gas cloud. It seems artificial in origin. Now, what happens again, one of the big parts of this system is one of the biggest uses of momentum is the obtain information spend, where you can spend a momentum point to ask for more information about a knowledge roll that you've just done, which like right now is sensors. So if you want to pry more information out of the sensors, now would be a chance that you could spend momentum to ask for more information so you know what you're dealing with. And just like in previous games, if you were to do that and it was something that after hearing it would be like really basic that I don't think is worthy of a spend, I'll just tell you the answer without you losing the momentum.
Well, yeah, I mean, momentum is made to be used, right? So I might as well blow one on this and see if we can find out something extra about it.
Sure. So you could use one and then you could ask something that you would like to know more about this signal that you're picking up. Just trying to see what else your skills are.
Okay, well, let's use one. Like so far, all I know is I can detect this signal, right? Do I have any idea where it's coming from, or is there any way I can actually sort of boost power to sort of understand the signal better in terms of if it's like a message or what sort of signal it is exactly?
Okay, so I'll say as for where it's coming from, that won't need a momentum spend. You can tell it's coming from a gas cloud, which is nearby, not too close to the planet you're monitoring, but in that system, in that solar system, there's a gaseous cloud, which is plenty of clouds, but this one, the signal is coming from it. As for the momentum spend, yeah, like scanning it more using 1 point momentum, you can tell it does appear to be a message. So it does have all the hallmarks of a transmitting message. So you realize that you would probably need the ship's communication systems to take part in this if they are going to be able to figure out what this message is.
Do we have a communications officer?
We do not. No. I mean, that
would actually be.
Anyone could probably do it from their console. So, I mean, you might be able to do it. You could report to the commander and leave it to him. It could need, because of how faint the signal is, they might need engineering to boost the signal as well to try pick it up. So
okay, well, I think I think like probably first step is like I want to inform Commander Locke. Commander, I've detected a strange signal from a nearby gas cloud that appears to be a message, but we would need our communication systems to sort of try and decipher exactly what it is saying. How would you like us to proceed?
Nearby gas cloud. Sorry, that was me. I had the burritos for dinner last night. No, we'll. All right. Well, is there any? Do you have any other signs of life or energy, a ship, anything coming from that gas cloud?
Bull, would I have detected anything from previous roll, or would I need to re-roll?
That could be another momentum spend to get that information.
Let's blow it. Blow it on
Okay.
that.
Going through the information again, you think you're getting detail of a ship inside the gas cloud, but the readings are very inconsistent. You believe there is a structure in there, a ship, or at least some kind of small structure in there that could be the source, and most likely is the source of this signal.
Okay, I'm obviously going to relay that to Commander Lolk then.
All right. Well then,
Yeah.
I think we have our next mission. Let's investigate. Lieutenant Alder, if you could please work on trying to enhance the signal and see if we can't get this into our any sort of known language database. Of course, finding out if it is a distress call is of the utmost priority.
Understood, sir.
And Lieutenant Commander Bellick, if you could use the ship's scanning systems to try and get a more precise location of where the signal is coming from and from what kind of structure.
Let's see. So, Bull, can I do my roles along for the communication systems? That
Okay. All right.
deciphering
So,
one.
yeah. So we'll
let's
have
see.
you roll first, and then we'll have Velik roll next. So let me get everyone here.
So am I rolling for the ship or for myself?
You'll be rolling for yourself in a second here. Let's see, for the ship. Why don't we have oh, that's another thing I want to ask already. Gene, are you able to do the rolls this time? I know you had trouble last time we were trying to do dice rolls. Can you do the rolls on roll 20 here?
Let me see if I can. I have it up right now.
Okay, give it a try, because like while we're doing the ship stuff, it will be good to have like you, Drake and Fishron doing the ship rolls for the people on the DeGrasse Tyson, and then have the DeGrasse crew doing it for you in your shuttle.
They may have left the ship, but their
They're still
spirits
here.
play on with us.
Yeah. So yeah, let me know.
Still not hard.
Let me know if you can open up the DeGrasse Tyson and get a roll. If so, for the DeGrasse Tyson, again, it's going to be for communications. It's going to be, I believe, communications and engineering. I believe is the combination for the communication system.
But for me, I'm wondering, is it still control science, or would it be insight at all?
This
Not
one is
sure.
probably more of an insight for you. Yeah, this insight or reason would probably be a good combination plus science for this.
Complication stored 1, range 2, right? Nothing's changing.
Yeah,
there.
let me take a look on my list here. Yeah, complication 1. Yeah, and the difficulty of this roll for you is going to be 2. So let's see, Velik is not doing anything for the communications. He's just trying to narrow down the system. So whatever he does is not going to affect this. So it's going to be difficulty of 2.
2 would be, well, let's see. If
So
I can read
you'll
this.
need to get 2 successes.
Complication range would be 2 then.
Complication range
Right.
is 1, just 1.
1.
So yeah,
And so-
complication range is slightly different.
So,
But you also have a choice of using momentum to buy an extra D20. You still have 2 momentum banked.
I don't actually change difficulty on my side in terms of the roll, right?
No, you're
I mean,
just
that's what I'm
looking.
sort of
You're
asking.
just looking to get at least 2 successes on your roll.
Okay, well, let me just roll like this then.
Okay, Gene, were you able to get that?
Yeah, I pulled up one of them. Now, you want me to pull up either the Dawkins or the Sato?
Oh, just DeGrasse Tyson. Don't
Just the
worry about the
DeGrasse
ship. Yeah, you're while you're on the shuttle, but you're going to be rolling for the DeGrasse Tyson for them.
Okay. And that's communication and
communication
engineering.
and engineering, yes. Focus use, yes. Complication 1 and Starship Task Roll 1. Although we've already got a spoiler alert that he succeeded.
If I remember this, the success is then if it's. I mean, how do you read the rolls again? Because
So
I'm still in
what the roll would
Cthulhu
be,
one, yeah.
yeah, what the roll would be is the total of your discipline and your attribute. You have to roll within that. So it's similar to Call of Cthulhu that you want to roll under that number. So you roll the D20 and like you have insight and science. So insight and science is for you
Total of
16. So if you roll 16 or lower on the D20, you're getting a success. But when you have a focus used, anything that's also within the range of your discipline counts as 2 successes.
Okay.
Whereas otherwise, a natural 1 will always count as 2 successes.
Okay.
Okay, so the ship also got another, what's it called? 1. So you got the 2 successes you needed, and you got 2 additional successes. So you're back up to 4 momentum. Remember, momentum caps at 6. It always caps at 6. And when the scene ends, you always lose 1 momentum. So that's why, again, like Terry said, it's meant to be spent. Okay, so you got your success on that, and we're going to have Velik do his roll too, just to try to narrow down the location. So, Mr. Velik, can you do a? You're going to be narrowing the scanning band to try to figure out the location. So, for you adjusting that in engineering, that's going to be for you control and engineering.
Okay.
And Jeremy, could you roll for the DeGrasse Tyson on this? This is going to be using its sensors again, as usual. They're already locked onto the signal, so it just sensors and science on the DeGrasse Tyson.
I think I can figure that out.
This would be a no focus.
Let's see. I don't think there's any focus that applies to this. So yeah, no focus for
No
this
focus,
particular
complication 1, and task roll 2.
Yes.
Same for the DeGrasse Tyson. Complication 1.
Complication 1, task roll 1. So DeGrasse Tyson's always going to be task roll 1. Okay, nothing there, but Velik got the 2 successes that were necessary anyhow, so both rolls are succeeding there. So here is what's happening. So we'll go back to Alder. Alder, what you're getting on your signal is you're now listening to the comms. You're feeding the information into the comm system, and it's really peculiar on the signal that you're getting. It's definitely transmitting a signal, but it's not in a language familiar to the ship's computer system. So it's going to definitely need a little bit of adjustment in the universal translator. So it's not matching anything at all in the system. The other thing that's really curious about the signal that you're getting now is the range that it's being transmitted in. It's not in a range similar to what is typically used by the known species that you've dealt with, but it has the hallmarks of a distress signal. That if you were going to transmit a distress signal, you would have it on as wide a band as possible to be picked up by whoever could, and with a repeating frequency to try to get attention. It has that, but unlike the way that most of the known races to Starfleet would transmit the signal, it's slightly off. It, like I said, it has the hallmarks of it, but it's different from what is expected. Okay.
Commander Log, I've got some feedback on the signal. Not that it will help us much, but I can tell it must certainly be a distress signal of sorts, but unfortunately our computer system is unable to match it to any known language we've encountered before. Would you like me to dig any deeper into it, or shall we just like pursue the source of the signal more?
So there is audio with this signal.
Oh boy, is there audio with the signal, or is
there,
it just
there is
sort of
audio? There is audio, but again, it's nothing that the computer can translate naturally.
What does it sound like? Just in case.
Can you bring up the audio, please?
Okay. Yeah, you could feed the audio through. Again, it takes a little adjusting because it's not in the usual frequencies or the range that you would expect. So you bring up the audio play through, and yeah, we got our ships flying back and forth here on screen. You bring the audio through, and it's not a language you've ever heard before. It's very short. It's calling out like just in very short, curt bursts, stating something, but it sounds, the voice itself, if you had to try to describe it, it sounds panicked. But again, you don't really know what it's saying.
Do we hear
Not
anything,
yet.
any background noise at all? Anything besides the voice?
Not with the disturbance that's out there, and with the distance between the ship and the signal, it's a lot of static. So you're not even getting the full effect of the voice. You're getting a lot of choppiness.
Lieutenant Alder, if we approach the source of the signal, do you think that we'll be able to get a better recording of it?
Perhaps, Commander. I will, in the meantime, until we get closer, I will try and work a bit further to see whether I can determine any patterns of the language and perhaps work out a rudimentary translation, if at all possible.
All right. And Lieutenant Commander Velik, any success on your side of things?
Yeah, Velik, yeah, you were able to narrow down the signal, so you could pinpoint exactly where in the cloud the signal is coming from.
Okay, so we've discovered where in the cloud the signal is coming from.
Excellent. And were you able to learn anything about the source of the signal?
If you want to spend one momentum on that, I can give you as much information as you would have gotten from what you
let's do that
capable
then.
of doing that. So you're detecting, again, it's coming from definitely a starship, but it's not matching any of the specs that you are familiar with in your history as an engineer. And even stranger to you is the ship doesn't seem to be complete. It seems to be missing components. Like you're not getting the regular signal that you would get emitting from various systems of a ship.
So similar to the language issue, we're detecting something, but it does not match anything in our records or anything I've personally encountered either. Furthermore, there seem to be some components missing. It's quite odd.
I see. Well, certainly is more interesting going into these kind of escapades, not knowing what we're getting into, but that's why we're out here. So, nameless red shirt, who's now piloting. Let's head in the direction of the signal. Not too quickly, though. Let's try not to announce ourselves.
Aye, aye, Commander. Hang on a second. Oh, I should get, I want to bring out, if I may. Where is he? I'll bring out that other, if I can find where I put him, I'll bring out the other pilot that encountered the Shran and really loved the way he piloted. So I'll bring him to the ship. How's that? He'll be our
Yeah, I'd like to
pilot.
point out he is a inferior pilot.
He is.
For the record.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Thishran just calls back to the ship just to announce that. Just so everyone knows. All right. So
Yeah, he would do that.
Yes. I'm just going to put him on the bridge just in case. Okay, so pilot. I changed the screen for you all, right? You're on exterior space, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so the DeGrasse Tyson approaches the cloud. You're trying to compensate with all the interference. As you get right to the coordinates where Commander Velik set you to, let's see, I have to send. You see that there is a ship caught inside some kind of strange anomaly swirling inside the cloud. Like only half of the ship is visible. It's not of any design that you've encountered before, and just like you're well aware of the signal, the language, the structure. It's a very odd put together vessel. But then just as you get close, suddenly the lights start flickering on and off. On the bridge, you start seeing the control panels, the LCARS panels, blinking on and off, flashing on and off, and you hear the distinct sound of power failure going off around the ship as something overtakes the systems and overloads everything and leaves you in darkness for the time being. And we're going to stop there and jump to the shuttlecraft Dawkins with Captain Saavek, Lieutenant Drake, Lieutenant Thadagia, and Lieutenant Thishran. You four with her. You've been flying for a few hours now out of opposite direction from the DeGrasse Tyson, and you are approaching the frozen moon in the AK-807b system. There is nothing really in the system. It's very bland, uninteresting system, but according to the captain's information, there may be that very, very miracle plant to be found on the surface of this icy moon. And the moon comes in. Do we have that here? There we go. So we'll put that for you. Yeah. All right. The moon comes into view. Very cold, desolate place in orbit of a gas giant. And as you get close, your initial scans show that there's no signs of civilization on the surface at all. Mr. Thishran?
Yes.
What does it look like to you?
Well, it's at the moment it looks uninhabited, looks relatively safe. I see no reason why we can't go down and have a look.
Very well. Lieutenant Drake, I assume you've brought enough to defend the ship should we need it.
Of course, man. Myself is all we need.
That's what I'm concerned about.
And he just gives that angry look over there. Lieutenant Thadagia, can you give us a quick scan of the surface to see if there's anything we should be concerned about?
Give me 1 second, Cap. going to run a computer sensor scan, or
Yes, so it would just be on your sheet for you, it would be a control and science. And then we can have let's see here, who has not done a roll yet? Mr. Lulk. Commander Lulk, could you roll for the shuttle?
Yes, I just have to find the shuttle.
Yes, you do.
That's the Dawkins.
It is the Dawkins, yes.
Okay, and what kind of role am I doing?
It will be a sensor science, please. And again, always focus use and complication 1, task roll 1 for the Dawkins. And for Thadasia, it's going to be task roll 2, complication range 1. And let's see, I don't think you have any focus, so focus no.
okay.
Oh, hey, that's a pretty darn good roll there for the shuttle with only sensors
Yeah.
5 and no science going. You still got a success.
Apparently we're having some technical issues with character screen loading here on my end. Give me 1 second, Captain.
Klingons know nothing but success.
Yeah, how's your moon doing?
Hey, let's not talk about that. Still
Sorry,
stings. Yeah.
technicality. I'm sorry.
Still stings. Still stings. Let's not bring that up. You okay there? Or do you need somebody else to do that roll on your character sheet, not the ship sheet? You rolled for the ship before, right? So it
Correct,
was working
yes,
before, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
However, it's not seeming to pull up here on my personal sheet, which went down.
Oh, that's strange. That's strange. Okay. Are you able to open your sheet?
No,
You can't even open it at all.
no.
Okay. Then let's get somebody else to roll for Thadagia until he gets that working again. So let's see. Terry, can you open up Thadagia's sheet? It'll give you a little more practice
Okay.
for your dice rolling.
Oh, jeez. Do we really want that? Okay, yeah. Oh no, it's weird. I just see Fidagia. Obviously, I can't see any of these other than bio and info.
Same.
Oh, maybe I didn't turn it on for everyone. Okay, I apologize. I'll do it. We'll do it live. Okay, what is it? Control, science, no focus, complication 1, thing of 2. I don't know why I already had him like shooting 6 damage worth of something from a last game. I don't know what that's about, but I'm erasing that and I'm clicking there. Okay. So, Gene, you did awesome.
Of
Course, yeah. All right, so
course.
that's good. So just three successes there, and at a 0 difficulty, that maxes you out with 6 momentum now for everyone. Oh, one more thing, I forgot to remind you at the top of the hour. Everyone has 1 point of determination for spending for using values in that. So don't forget you have your determination for value use, and we have the guide for how you could use determination, I think, on the Roll20. But if you ever need to know how to use it, just ask. But remember, determination does like all the big stuff. So when you use your value, that's where the main one is. You get an automatic 2 successes for what you're doing. So it's like you rolled a natural 1 on your die, plus in addition to your die roll. So in addition to everything else the determination will do, that's your big one. So please keep that in mind. Okay. And as usual, I keep repeating it, but always take a look at your values and see when you might be able to use one. The more you use it, the better. Okay, so Gene, you do a basic scan, and indeed, you don't see any signs of civilization on the surface. There's no real signs of operating technology. You detect a lot of animal life, but it's very hard. There's a lot of interference with the animal life that you're not really detecting any concentrated areas of vegetation on this world.
Curious, Captain. Outside of animal life, I'm not detecting much in the way of any other forms of life, especially vegetation.
Interesting. My contact at the trading outpost insisted that on the southern hemisphere, there were large collections of this plant to be found.
I'll continue my scans. Do you trust the information given to you by your source?
Now, there seemed to be no reason to doubt them. They only shared it with me after I explained my own interest in the matter, and they asked for no compensation in return. See, Mr. Thishran, can you
Yes, Captain.
can you bring us closer down towards the southern hemisphere and try to get us a scan?
Absolutely, Captain.
Mr. Drake, just stand by. I think once we land this vessel, we're going to need you to take point.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Thishran, can you just give me a piloting roll? Because I want to get you in on the action here. Again, I'm just doing a lot of extra rolls right now just to get everyone back into the rhythm of things and also give you a chance to both gain and burn momentum for whatever you may need. Okay.
It's control and
it's going to be control and con for you. Yeah. And then whoever can roll the dice. How about Vela? Can you roll for the, or Drake, have you done a roll yet? No, you haven't. You look so sad over there. I apologize. I'm going to let you roll for the dog.
Let him take it.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Velik. Yeah. You roll the Dawkins, please. I need to figure out which sheet I need open. I got too many people's sheets open now. I don't know where they are. So Dawkins is, of course, going to be, like, pop that out. Dawkins is going to be the engines and con.
Shran's going to be complication range 1 and task roll 1.
And task roll 1. Okay. Whoop, whoop. There we go. All right. So we got, dang, the Dawkins is really hitting it out of the park right now. That is the best ship we got in our fleet right now. All right. 3 successes there. You only need 1. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you it was difficulty 1 for this. You only need 1. So that's an additional 2 successes, which again are extra. They are, you already are maxed out at 6. So you can burn them now as an obtain information spend to try to again find better places to land or see if you spot any kind of vegetation from above. Or you could, since you succeeded at the task, I said it's a difficulty 1, but if we say it's a difficulty of 2, you can still use 2 momentum to create an advantage that could help you apply. Create advantage is always a 2 momentum spend, but it's always a difficulty of 2. So if you would like to retroactively do that and spend 1 extra momentum and 1 of the 6 that you have, you would be able to create an advantage to do something to help you succeed further. So it's your call. You're the pilot. You're doing well. What would you like to do? Obtain information or create an advantage?
I mean, I feel like creating an advantage would be a good idea.
Okay. So then in that case, it was a difficulty 2 retroactively, which we can fudge the rolls because I'm in charge of the rolls, so I allow it to be fudged. So you got 2 on there, 1 extra momentum, and 1 of your 6 we're spending. So you have an advantage. What would you like that advantage to be?
What would be my options in a situation like that?
Well, right now you're piloting, so what you could do is you could maybe have an advantage of like being able to scan the environment both visually if the sensors aren't able to pick it up, so you could see if you could spot any kind of like good landing site or anything that's close to vegetation that maybe the sensors just aren't able to obtain.
Okay, yeah, I would probably be looking for a really good landing site.
Okay. So then we'll say the advantage is that you're able to find a safe landing site that you could hold as a base of operations. How's that? So flying down low, and even though the sensors aren't able to give you a lot of good detail, it's not really showing you anything about vegetation. You notice with how rocky and how dangerous this wintry wasteland is, there's very few decent places to land. But with this advantage, then Thishran has used his expertise to find a place that would both support and shelter the shuttle. So it would be a great place to put the thing down so the environment itself would not be a threat to the ship. So once that information's in, the captain will just tell you to land there. So make advantage of it. How's that?
I can expertly do that.
So let's make sure the ship gains the advantage, or at least the location gains the advantage of secure landing site. So it is not going to have to worry too much about the weather itself. Okay. So Thishran, you expertly bring the shuttle down, and there, Mr. Thadagia, your sensor rings are showing just how bitterly cold it is outside on this moon. Now, again, you and Thishran are both Andorians, and you're from an icy planet. So for the time being, the 2 of you will not be affected by it very much, but Lieutenant Drake may find it a little hard to deal with outside.
Pink skins.
Pink skin.
I've been looking forward to returning to a cooler climate.
I just love Drake's the whole ride down. It's just him angrily looking from one Andorian to the other. It's just like, why am I here? It's like no comment. It's just him like,
We're gonna make this as pleasurable as possible.
I think Drake agrees, but all right.
Mr. Drake, you do not seem to be too enthusiastic about this current assignment.
I am, ma'am. It's just I'm from quite a warm climate back home, so this is going to be a long trip, shall we say.
Well, I'm
Glad
afraid
I
that
brought my coat.
I may have to side with you on this matter. Vulcan is not known for its bitter winters. So, the shuttle lands, and everyone starts suiting up in their cold weather gear. I would also advise the Andorians to also dress properly, just in case. Okay, there you go.
Take our shirts off.
Go on sandals, flip flops, and shorts on. Open Hawaiian shirt, like woo! Here we are. Okay, as you land, Captain looks over to Lieutenant Drake. So, Lieutenant, as you are my chief of security, you are going to be the one who is in command until we are sure that everything is safe. In which case, when it comes to anything medical, anything dangerous of that sort, then I ask that you, as usual, defer to Mr. Thadagia.
Of course, ma'am. First thing will be a security sweep once we land.
Okay. So everyone starts suiting up in their cold weather gear, and Captain gets her cane. She gets her gloves on, and door opens on the shuttle. The whole flip down open. And as soon as it cracks the sill, just this blast of icy cold air rushes into the cabin, and you can even see Captain Saavek shudder a little in her stoic Vulcan way, whereas Tadaji and Thashran just kind of bask in the air hitting their exposed faces. I should say for Lieutenant Drake, I apologize. I almost called you Day. We were almost back in Star Wars. So Lieutenant Drake, and for everyone actually, even though right now it's not going to affect you. Right now, the planet exterior has the complication or the trait Extreme Cold 1, which means that everything is going to be one step more difficult to do. Except for the Andorians, who they can lower by one step a difficulty based on cold. So right now for the Andorians, you are not affected by this level of cold. It could potentially get to a cold point where they will be affected, and that stage, Lieutenant Drake will be affected even stronger.
Genetic unfairness.
Okay. The captain steps up to the door of the shuttle, looks down, looks at her cane, like, perhaps I may have overestimated my abilities on joining you on this mission.
I will reach out and put my hand on the captain's shoulder and say, no, we're with you, Captain.
She looks at you and nods her head. If you want, you can use your tricorders now and do a tricorder sweep now that you're on the ground instead of using the ship sensors.
Yeah, I would like to do a sweep of the area, so let's do that.
You're going to do security sweep. Tadagia, how are you doing on your character sheet? You able to get that working yet?
I just pulled it up, so I'm gonna see if it works.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna pull up a scan as well. Maybe take a closer look at the vegetation.
Okay.
General environment, I should say.
Anything from you, Thashran?
Yes, I'm going to take up my tricorder to begin looking for any type of vegetation, life,
Okay.
or anything. I'm going to look back at Drake and make a sarcastic remark. So, what exactly security threats are you looking for there, Drake? Afraid there may be some deadly snowflakes out here.
Well, we did see a large quantity of animals compared to vegetation, which makes me assume there's quite a few predators to maintain such an environment. So I'm looking for those to shrine.
Oh.
Hopefully we won't find any.
I hope we do.
All right, get your rolls, whoever's doing the rolls, and let's see what you got.
Would we control, rather?
It would be control. Yeah, for you, Drake.
Control and security, right?
Control and security, because you're scanning for threats. Everyone else would be control and science, or yeah, science would be best.
Task roll 1 or 2.
Task roll for this, it's you rolling, so it's a task roll of 2. For the threats for Drake, you're going to have a difficulty of 1. For the one scanning for plant life, you're going to have difficulty of 2.
I passed.
Okay. Let's see. You're not scanning, right, Thashran?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. So Lieutenant Drake, yeah, you passed and you gained 1 extra, so you're capped out on momentum again. Yeah, Drake, you do detect that there are, again, like you spotted from space, there is a lot of animal life. And you sense a lot of life, not too close to you, but it is there is definitely out there, both flying types and on the ground types. So there's definitely a lot of blips on your sensor, but right now your immediate area is clear.
Okay, I relay that to the team and suggest we keep our eyes looking up as well as down here, just in case.
Okay, and Thadasia, again, you're not really getting any kind of signals for plant life, but just looking out the way you are and how Thishran landed the ship, you're in a pretty safe enclosed area with the rocky outcroppings, that there's basically only one way to go if you're going to set out. So you would have to go basically in the northwesterly direction from where you are. Let me see here. Let's see. I don't know. Can you see that on the map here?
It's dark apart from the ship, but yeah.
Okay, and let's take a look here. Let me get the people out on here. That's, oh, I always opened the wrong thing. So just to set the, okay, there's Tadagia, there's Drake, there's Thishran, and there's Saavek. Okay. Captain shrunk in size for now. Well, I guess let's just shrink everyone. Everyone's massive. Okay, there we go. All right, so you don't really have a good idea, but again, basically the only way you can go is pretty much just northwest from the way he's secured the ship landing.
I'll make my way towards the entrance and have a look to see if I can see anything.
Well, it's just still, you're outside, so it's just a big cold wasteland.
Okay, fair enough. I thought we were in an enclosure.
No, you're just kind of surrounded, like semicircular, with how high the ground is. So you're kind of safe from like the stronger winds in the atmosphere. So as in being secured there, you're not on like an icy ground that could collapse, and you're not like on the precipice that the wind could affect it if the wind picks up. So the advantage that Thishran got for you is to basically just give you a sheltered landing, but it's not enclosed.
Okay, fair enough.
That's kind of what I meant. The captain will look at you, Dre, and like, well, Lieutenant, shall we set off on this expedition?
Yes, we shall. I'll take point. Commander, if you want to follow up my rear, followed by Thishran and Tadalgia.
Glad to be in the back.
Let's be on our way. And the 4 of you set off into the wilderness. Okay. Let's jump back real quick to the DeGrasse Tyson, if we may. Okay, so Lieutenant Commander Velik, you're in engineering, and the warp core is flashing on and off, like the power is being cut out. There's a lot of interference just cutting into every system on the ship right now. The consoles are going black, coming back on. The lights are flickering. Everything's going crazy. Same thing on the bridge where both Alder and Commander Locke is, but right now it's basically up to Lieutenant Commander Velik to get a hold of his ship.
Okay, so first thing I have to do is figure out where the problem's coming from.
Okay. Just a very quick, since you can't really rely on the ship's scanning right now because the ship's going out there, you could break out your engineering tricorder and do a quick scan of that. So that's going to be a difficulty 0 for you on control and engineering. And let me see your sheet. It's so much easier with paper sheets for me than looking on there. So again, with oh yeah, you also have the talent. I don't know if you remember that you have the talent. I know my ship. So
Yeah.
that gives you an immediate bonus D20. So you get to roll 3 dice without spending momentum on here. But you can also roll. You can also spend momentum or even buy extra D20 with threat, because you are a bold guy if you want to do that. That allows you rerolling. This is only going to be a difficulty 0, however. And since warp field dynamics, all that's in focus, you're getting a focus too.
Okay.
So control engineering, or you could do reason engineering if you wanted to.
Okay, so probably reason would be good, because I'd be able to, figure out what's going on based on the data.
That makes sense.
What about determination and threat and momentum? What should I set those to?
Momentum right now, that's always fluctuating. We have our 6 maxed out right now. You have 1 point of determination, and the threat, that's always going to flux too. And right now it's at 12.
So how does that work? Because it's only up to 6 on the chart.
Yeah, again, that's not really something you really have to manage the threat.
Okay.
That's why I keep calling it out, just to be safe.
Okay.
But really, the only thing you need to keep track of on your sheet is the determination.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do this.
I gotta go to the chat. What you get? 3. Yeah, you only needed, well, it was 0 anyhow, and you got 3 whole successes, which are 3 over what you need. So you can spend all 3 of those for obtained information if you want. So what you are detecting, your immediate result without obtained information, is that there is a strong subspace interference getting in the way of all your electronics, because subspace would affect the warp core. So any kind of strong subspace interference would make the core go haywire, which would then start cutting the power from everything on the ship.
Okay.
And again, you got 3 extra points of momentum if you want to burn them on obtained information to get more detail. If not, then they just go away.
Yeah, let's do those. Figure
Okay.
out what the hell's going on here.
All right. So what specific question do you want to know about this interference?
So if it's subspace interference, what is the cause of it? Is it natural or is it technological?
It would have to be a natural cause, something like this, what your scans are showing. So that's one of your 3 bonus. Again, you're still at max 6. It would definitely be like an intense form that's coming from outside ship. This would not be, and there was a lot of interference in the area. So whatever you're in right now is magnified to something the ship is just not able to handle currently.
Okay. What could be causing the magnification?
What could be causing magnification? That would probably be, from what you would know in your studies, an actual rift in subspace, where the fabric of subspace has broken open into the physical universe.
Okay. Is there anything we can do to try to mitigate the effects?
Yes. Now, knowing where it's coming from, knowing how it's coming from, what you would be able to do, you could shield the warp core from it. That basically separates it off. You would not be able to regain warp power in this kind of disturbance. So the engine, you would be limited to, impulse and just maneuvering thrusters. But you would at least be able to separate the propulsion aspect from the powering aspect. So at least you'd have regained control of the ship systems, but not the engines.
Okay. So probably the best thing to do then is to shield the warp core and to try to get out of this.
So first step would be to shield the warp core then. So you would be able to do that right down there, of course, in engineering to try to separate it away. So you have always access to an engineering crew because you are down in engineering and you're the chief engineer. So that lowers the difficulty for you. So if you just call your crew together to basically get that done, you would be able to do that reasonably easy. So let's see. That would be a control and engineering according to this. So control and engineering with just a difficulty of 1, and you still have all 6 momentum left to use.
Okay, and would this still count as I know my ship?
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
I would say it is because well, no, I'm sorry. Because that's just determining the source of the tech problem. So I apologize. No, I know my ship would not count in this one. You already determined the problem. So apologies for that. No, however, like you would still get the focus. You would still have your focus.
Okay. All right. Switch.
Are you using any momentum? I guess not.
No.
Okay. All right, but that's fine. You gained again 1 extra momentum that probably not going to be able to use, but if you have any idea for it, but you call out to your crew, you tell them exactly what's going on, and all of you jump on in. You're manually recalibrating the warp core, so you're making sure that it's able to continue generating power for the ship, but you know the engine is going to be offline propulsion wise. But now back on the bridge too, finally, after some flashing lights blinking, nothing working, suddenly you hear the familiar boom, and then all the lights come back on, all the panels are operating as normal. The ship is kind of what should I say? Listing a little, like twisting, because of course everything died for a second. But now it's kind of stabilizing in its position. But Commander Locke, you see the ship is finally back to somewhat of control, if not completely. I think Commander Locke's
Sorry
there.
about
Oh,
that.
yeah, thank you. There you go. Okay.
All right, so everything's back on. Do we have everything back online, Commander Bellic?
Not everything. We've got the warp core shielded, so we cannot warp, but we do have basic controls back.
All right. Well, good job on the quick recovery. Lieutenant Alder,
Yes, Commander.
are the ship's communication systems back up and running?
Bull, would that be back up?
Yep, got everything there. Your all systems except for propulsion are working back to normal.
Okay. Commander, everything seems to be okay on my end. Communication systems are functional.
All right. Well, I think that we have 2 major priorities now. One will be decoding what the distress signal might be, as we need to know whether or not there are people that need our help on that ship and what the immediacy of their danger might be. And secondly, we need to find out more about this anomaly, what it's done to our ship. I do not like not being able to move the ship, and what kind of danger it has put this other vessel in. Hopefully, if we're lucky, the distress signal will help answer both of these questions.
Yes, Commander. Bull, could I do a scan on that ship at all?
Yeah, now that you're closer to it, and You got your systems back online. You're in the thick of things. So yeah, you could do a direct scan on the vessel now that it's in your range.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. Let's see. I'd go with insight again on this. Would I, or control science yet again?
This, since it's a direct scan of the vessel, that would be since you're scanning the vessel itself, that would be control.
Okay, so let's go control science. Focus, I don't think I got anything as such, right?
Not for just regular scanning.
Yeah, nothing.
No. Also, Commander Log, you're able to do your own kind of scans or anything from your own command console. So if there's any kind of thing you want to do as well, just let me know. Because like you have access to basically every system on your console.
All right.
Difficulty, are we sticking with 1 on this, I'd say?
For this, again, it's going to be difficulty 2, but it's knocked down
2,
to 1. It's going to be knocked down to 1 because of the DeGrasse Tyson. So yeah.
Okay. No focus, complication range 1, task roll 2, and away we go.
Somebody needs to roll for the DeGrasse Tyson as well.
Nice. Two critical successes there.
Terrence, I just noticed something else on your sheet that we didn't mention before. You're the science officer, and science officer, you also, as the chief science officer, you have the ability that any success with the ship's computer or sensors, or even with the tricorder, gains you an automatic 1 bonus momentum to use for obtained information.
Yes. I remember reading that earlier. A character generates 1 bonus momentum, which may only be used on the obtain information momentum spend. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, that's the one. Oh, Fishran, thank you for that. Got the roll. So you got, you succeeded. You got 1 momentum that cannot be banked because you're already maxed out. And Darius, you gain your bonus momentum that can only be used for obtain information. So basically you get 2 free questions from this, but your scan of the ship itself, it shows that the ship is heavily damaged. You can tell it has a lot of scoring on the structure, as if it received a lot of blast from some kind of weaponry. And the ship is not moving. It appears to be stuck in space. But the strangest thing that comes up in your scan, so again, you got it's damaged, it's stuck, but the stranger thing is you're detecting that, to quote Doctor Who, it's bigger on the inside than what your scan is showing you on the outside.
Okay. So can I use my one unbankable momentum quick to get some more info?
Yes. What would you like to know?
Well, I suppose maybe I wouldn't even use momentum on this, depending. Do I have any indication of like what race's ship this is?
If it's nothing known. This is not a momentum spend, but this is just clearly nothing known.
Okay. Oh, jeez, because I have no idea what to use this momentum on. So if anyone else has an idea what I could ask for it, I'm not too sure myself, actually.
Yeah, feel free. Ask for ideas if anyone would. What would you want to know about this ship itself, or what you've already discovered about the ship? I mean, this is a great chance for everyone to think about.
Does it show any signs of being a military vessel or a passenger or industry, anything?
That's a good idea. Do we have any indication of, well, can I tell like from weaponry or ship design or anything if it is?
Yeah, that's a good
like
use for it. Yeah. So scanning that, yeah, you see that there's absolutely no weapons on it at all. It doesn't, the material it's made of doesn't suggest it's armored in any way. it looks like a basic transport vessel.
Commander Log, it seems like the ship has no weapons of any sort. It would seem to be a transport vessel, but I still have no idea to which race, if any, it belongs, or all I can tell is it seems to have been potentially damaged. There seems to be weapon scoring on the outer hull, and it also seems to be stuck. But most strangely, from my scan, it would seem the ship is much larger on the inside than it appears to be from the outside. That is the easiest way I have of describing these strange results. I'm not sure how to interpret them just yet.
This is similar to your Earth saying they have a large heart.
Very much so, Commander, very much so.
All right. Well then. Well, if they're not a military vessel, then I'd say that we can approach with a little less caution. But at this point, we should turn our wariness towards the anomaly. We do not
Agreed,
want
sir.
to be stuck in it in the same way.
You still have the one more momentum that can't be banked. Is there any other question you want to ask?
Oh, man. Yeah, Commander, is there anything further we would like to know about the ship? I could potentially have a quick look at my results and see if I can interpret anything further.
Did you register any life forms forward?
Okay, Bo and I check my results and my little momentum. Would that tell me if there's anyone aboard?
You detect 13 life signs on the ship.
Oh, it does seem to be a sizable crew of sorts there, Commander Log. 13 from what I can tell.
All right, well, let's do our best to open a line of communication with them.
We'll do so. And I sort of start tapping away at my communication system, see if I can get hold of the anyone on that ship.
Okay, you open up the comms and again, the alien voice answers, and it's trying to communicate the universal translator. It's attempting to adapt to this new language. It's trying its best. So as the voice keeps talking and in a frantic way, you eventually start getting a couple words here and there, but it's going to need a little more manual adjustment to try to adapt to this new language. But the words you do hear, or that it does translate after repeating again and again, you get the word help and you get the word children.
What was the last one?
Children.
Children.
Commander Log, I would suggest time is of the essence. They still seem to be desperately in need of our help and are saying they are children of sorts. That's currently the only parts of the message I can understand.
I see. Well, I suppose that we need to do, before we move forward, we need to find out more about this anomaly and what risk might come from a rescue attempt. Whether that be removing these people from their ship or removing the ship from the anomaly.
Yes, I would definitely advise us not to get caught in the same anomaly as the ship, as I'm not too comfortable of us being able to escape it.
All right. Well, I will work with Lieutenant Commander Velik to prepare our ship, possibly see if there's a way to shield it from the anomaly's effects. And in the meantime, get your Galactic Common Language flashcards out and start working out that language, see if we can open a full line of communication with them.
Understood, Commander.
Okay, so what's the project? What are you going to be working on?
Well, I suppose personally for me, like I need to try and decipher their language further. So I need to start seeing if there's any way I can discover a pattern to the words or structure of the language that have been sent to us and try and match it up so that our universal translator can start decoding it for us and we'll be able to communicate better.
Okay. Commander, how about you? Commander Locke.
I will start on science diagnostics on the anomaly, and we'll work with Velik to figure out how it was affecting our ship and what we can do to prevent that.
Okay. Okay, and then Velik, you'll be assisting the commander in preparing the ship. Is that correct? Or do you have something extra you would like to do?
No, that sounds good for now.
All right. So let's get those roles in there for what they would do. So the first thing we'll do with Lieutenant Alder with deciphering the language, this is going to be this would be an insight plus science roll on your part. Basically, it's going to be using the ship's computer a lot, so that's going to trigger your computer's focus. Mr. Thishran, could you do a roll for the DeGrasse Tyson on that one with the communications and engineering for the translator. Jeez, I can't remember that. So
what difficulty are we going for in this one?
This is going to be a difficulty of 2. It's going to be a difficulty 2. And again, you have 6 momentum here that you could use to buy extra D20s as well as.
I can't.
Yes.
Sorry to barge in. I wanted to check in terms of the momentum for extra dice. Is that something I've got to call beforehand? It's not like, oh crap, I got 2 failures. I need to sort of save it. Let me spend 2 momentum and re-roll.
Yeah, you do have to call ahead of time. You do have to call if you want the extra dice ahead of time. But looking at your sheet, I see you also have cautious science, and this is a science roll for you. So if you do use momentum to buy an extra die or more than 1 die, you can re-roll one of those extra dice that you buy. So you do have that ability.
Yeah, I might as well. Let me actually use 1 momentum, take an extra die on that.
Okay.
So that means I've got to crank this up to 3 instead of a 2 then, right?
You roll 3 instead of 2, yep. And then it's still complication range of 1.
Well, see, I've been struggling to get my values in. This wouldn't count as like puzzle solver.
Oh yeah, that would if you want to. That would be perfect because you're putting together the puzzle of this language. Yeah, so if you wanted to use your value there for puzzle solver, that will basically gain you your first die. That would buy the die for you. Instead of 1 momentum, you buy it with the determination, but that die automatically rolls a 1, so you get 2 successes automatically on it.
Oh, well, I might as well do that then, right?
Yeah, so
I need to.
Okay, puzzle solver used. Positive. So that's basically 2 on there. So you don't have to buy an extra. You still have the 6 momentum. You still roll your dice, and then Thishran, can you roll the communications for me? Thank you. Just to see. Extra. I can't see. So yeah, you basically now you got 5 successes on your roll alone. Thishran, did you already roll for the ship? Was that the roll before? Is that
I already rolled before. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so basically you got 6 successes on that, which then means you have how much? It was difficulty 2, so you have 4 extra that you basically could use for obtain information, basically 5 extra with your computer use as a science officer. So again, you don't have to use them all, but it was also, this is a difficulty 2 task, which means that you can spend 2 of those momentum to create an advantage, which would then basically be creating the translating subroutine that's required. So you don't have to always translate for them. That it's basically you're figuring it out, and you gave the computer like a learning algorithm that it's going to translate as normal.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I want to sort of use that one of those momentum and create an advantage, sort of already create a computer subroutine, so you're able to do real-time translation back and forth between, you know, the 2 ships. So we don't need to worry anymore about having to spend time deciphering it.
Good. Okay.
I'm trying to sort of
and then you'll
see.
still have I think 2 momentum left at this time you want to use. So just hang on to that right now. Start thinking what you might want to do with that. And then let me just jump to Locke right away. So Locke, you want to diagnose the anomaly, and with Velik, what would you like Velik to do to support you on that?
I want him to feed me information about what happened to the ship.
Okay.
So that I might be able to have better insight at what interference is being, like how the ship interacted physically with the anomaly, essentially.
Okay. So basically we'll then use that as a role with you, supported by Velik. So you're more or less, David, can you roll for the ship for me on this one? Can you do that? Sorry, Gene, I'll let you do a roll in a second too. So David, you're going to roll the sensors and science in that. Velik, you're going to support with a task roll of 1, since you're supporting him from down in engineering, with your reason and engineering would probably be the most likely one, because you're giving him the information about reason and engineering. And then
since I've got all this momentum built up, could I use one of it?
Oh, please. Yeah, you could use. So one more momentum will get you a 3rd die. Okay.
And then the complication range is 2, you said?
Complication range is still 1.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's going to be for you, the diagnosing anomaly, that's only going to, it's going to be difficulty of 1 because of the sensors, Commander. So Commander, you're doing your science and control.
Control. Okay.
Control.
Well, they're all 8 anyway, so.
Okay.
Okay, complication roll 1 and task roll is.
Yeah, do you have any focus that applies here?
No.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're more for military, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah. So task roll is what, 1?
Task roll is 2. You're rolling 2 unless you're spending an extra die. Oh, hang on a second. Perry, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I apologize. As a support, as a assistant, you can't use momentum to assist.
Oh, okay.
It's only for the lead person. Sorry. So if Commander Locke wants to use that, he could do that. But you would only roll 1 die. You would only roll one die.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would change the task roll to 1. So yeah, as an assist, you can only do 1. So I apologize there. But you're just successes all across the board anyhow. So you're cool.
I'll use the momentum to make it an extra dice.
Okay, just 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So you'll roll 3. There you go. And yeah, you got 2 extra. So
there we go.
Over. Okay, so what both of you are able to determine. So Lieutenant Commander Velik is giving you information that he got from the engines, and you're running it through the computer sensors and scanning. What you can figure out is that this anomaly is a subspace distortion. It's an actual rift in subspace. It's rare, but it's been encountered before by many Federation ships. So once you figure that out, it's easy to refer back to what it is. And basically, especially Lieutenant Commander Velik, you know, as the chief engineer, the subspace rift. Well, the warp core uses subspace to travel. So when there's a rift and subspace becomes unstable, you cannot maintain a warp bubble to take the ship to warp. And there was a lot of talk in Federation. There was a lot of problem with how the warp cores were damaging subspace. And that's what led to newer warp core designs, like you see in the Intrepid class ships, to not damage the spatial environment. But when you're in an area like this, there's basically nothing you can do against the rift. You just against the damage, I should say. You have to kind of get out of that area. Now, if you were to close a subspace rift, it might be able to stop this from happening. But right now, the rift itself, whether it is closable or not, that's another story. But right now, the ship itself, or the rift itself, has another vessel jammed inside of it. So it wouldn't be able to close without probably destroying the other ship. And it might not even be closable at all. It would just be a matter of trying to get out of its sphere of influence.
So we can use regular propulsion to move around it, but we can't warp.
Yes.
Okay. And around how long of travel regular propulsion would we have to before we could warp?
Right now, at the rate it is, it would be a couple hours at least.
Okay. That's not too bad. We're not stranded or
You're not
stuck.
stranded right now, no.
Okay. All right. Lieutenant Commander Velik, how close could we get to the anomaly without any kind of legitimate risk to our ship?
Am I able to make that determination?
Yeah, you would know just from experience in that you could get at least within transporter range without having to enter the anomaly itself. The anomaly seems to be contained to the core of the gas cloud. So as long as you're on the perimeter of the gas cloud itself, you're probably in the safe range.
As long as we remain outside of the gas cloud, we should be within transporter range without any negative effects on our ship.
All right. And wait, do we have any kind of tractor beam? Or am I thinking just Star Wars?
Oh, no. You have a tractor beam, yeah.
Okay. And would we be able to approach tractor beam range?
That would be a lot closer than transporter range, but it's possible.
All right. Well,
it would just take you
Commander
into the
Velik,
cloud, probably.
Lieutenant Commander Velik, I am going to check in with Lieutenant Alder to see if we can learn more about the situation on the ship. In the meantime, if you could investigate what kind of success rate we would have at pulling the ship out using our tractor beam, and at what risk to our ship it would be to do so.
Okay. Can I just stop you there for 1 second? Because I got to jump back to the Dawkins crew. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you got your roles complete. And again, Terrence, hold on to that extra momentum and think if there's anything you want to spend that for the obtained information, we'll do that. Okay. All right. So back to the Dawkins crew with Drake, Thashran, and Thadagia. So you're setting out in your, let me change the map here. You're setting out in the cold wasteland. So let me change that to you there. You've been hiking for maybe an hour or two. Let me get you out in the teenage wasteland there. It's hard for the captain to keep up, as you can imagine. Excuse me, let me get these areas here. It's hard for the captain to keep up, but she is doing her best to hang on with you all. Lieutenant Drake, you're getting extremely cold, as you would imagine. The captain herself, she's also feeling the cold. Mr. Thishran, Mr. Thadagia, you're both kind of okay. So you really don't need to worry about that. But I would like Mr. Drake, if you could make a fitness roll for me, please. And I will tell you what it is if I could just find where it is. So, Lieutenant Drake, can you do a fitness plus security? Oh, yeah. Gene, there's one more thing I want to ask of you, if I may, because there's something I forgot about asking you before you left the ship. I saw on your character sheet, if I could find it, I saw on your character sheet that you have a talent. Are you able to open your sheet?
Yes.
You have expedition expert. You didn't say anything about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Do you want to use that?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I didn't think I gave you time on the ship to do that. So yeah, you might want to do that. So Drake, do your fitness roll. And then I'll get back to you. So your fitness roll, fitness plus security on difficulty 1. Okay.
Would endurance or survival focuses assist?
Oh yeah, definitely. Those are good.
Lovely.
And if you would like to roll or use one of your momentum, we still have a stack of 6.
Yes, I would, because I don't want to.
Actually, technically, it's 5 because we're changing the scene there because it's another scene I didn't take out the last time. So it's 5, but you're spending 1, right? Okay. Okay. So do that roll on Gene. Okay, your expedition expert. So you're doing that. Would you like to explain what you're doing to the lovely boys and girls at home?
Yes, I'm just I'm running basically I did a scan of preliminary scan to pretty much determine what the effects of the cold weather would be on the crew and what steps I would need to take in order to help them get through it. Particularly to see what medicine I would need to take.
Okay. Then you'll do a research task. So that would be a medicine task, correct? Or would be a
yes. Either science
or science task. Okay, then let's do that. So that would be a what? Reason and science, would you say?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Reason or control and science, it's your call.
Try control. Let's go with control.
Okay, would you like to use any of your momentum for
it? Yes, I'll use one of them.
Okay, so you get to roll 3 dice. Thishran, are you doing any kind of scan? Are you doing anything while you're hiking along, or what would be your focus as you're going through with this?
I don't believe I'm scanning or anything like that. I am just kind of stepping out ahead of people.
Okay. So you're almost taking point with Lieutenant Drake?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're hanging in there. All right, let's see the rules for everyone here. Let's see, Lieutenant Drake. Okay, you got 2 successes. You only need a 1. So you got your momentum back and you passed that. So it's cold. It's very cold, but you are still hanging in there. You got your nice warm Federation jacket on. You're not succumbing to the effects of the weather that much. Okay, it's not getting worse. Yeah, you got your Federation issued blankie. I wonder if there's a Federation snuggie that they all wear as they go. Okay, let's see here, Gene. Let's see your roll. Did you make your roll there? Yes, there it is. So you got a success on there. So there you go. No momentum return, but now let's see. Now what you can do now that you succeeded on your research task, Gene. This is in the past. So I didn't give you a chance to do that, so I apologize. So you succeeded on your task. So you have 4 momentum left in the pool. You can spend any number of points of momentum, and that will allow you, as per your talent, that will allow you to use your science discipline that many times for any kind terrain related issues on this task. So how much momentum would you like to spend?
I want to spend 3.
Okay, so you'll get three opportunities to swap out your science discipline. So let's see, Tadasia. Okay, 3 times science use. Okay, so you basically you ran your simulations and you kind of know what to expect. So you'll be able to use science to traverse the terrain. Okay. All right. So as you're going, who's continuing to scan for the plant life? The captain is, but who of the crew is also scanning?
I'll run another scan as well, if I can.
Okay. And Drake, you're still scanning for threats, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So Gene, do that scan, and let's see, Mr. I'll say that after Gene's scan is done.
Right. That's still under control science, right?
Control and science, yeah. Okay. You got a complication. You got a complication as well as nothing. So you're not picking up anything, and you're realizing the complication, which I'm going to apply, is that the cold weather, we'll just say the extreme cold, is just causing interference with your scan. So basically, you're not going to be getting accurate readings from any of your tricorders because they have not been properly calibrated for the cold. So that is the condition that's going on there. So,
okay. So I assume that's assumed by the rest of the crew that they notice what.
Yeah, so nobody's going to be able to get proper scans with the tricorders as is, thanks to the cold on this planet. Okay, I'm going to spend 2 threat right now, 2 threat at the moment, because I have quite a bit. Mr. Thashran, as you're just moseying along on the way, everyone else is doing their scan, doing their thing. You're not focused on any device there, but you're more focused physically. You start to feel the ground trembling underneath you. And
All right.
as you look down at the ground, you see like little pebbles, little fragments, little ice chunks. They're trembling slightly, even as you stop, like something shaking it. And the closer you look, you do see the ground like sort of bulging up and moving off in the distance. Like there's something burrowing underneath the ground.
I would get the captain's attention immediately and point this out immediately.
Okay. The captain steps forward, leans on her cane, looks over at the Mr. Drake. What do you make of this?
It looks like not only do we have to keep our eyes above and around us, but we also got to be careful underneath. If they're burrowing, that could make the ground very unstable around us. Am I able to get anything on my readings? I mean, I've been scanning the whole time.
Yeah, make a roll, but now you have an additional complication thanks to Gene screwing things up there. The cold doing that. So yeah, make your scan, and this is going to be difficulty 2.
So complication range 2?
No, complication range is still 1 for this. I believe so. Let me. I believe. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
How'd you do? Let's take a look.
Got 2.
You got 2. That's exactly what you need. Again, with all the interference from the cold, it's really hard to make out any distinct individual life forms. But yeah, scanning around, you do notice that there is not just aerial and above ground, but you also, as you focus your scans on ground, realize that there is subterranean life on this rock.
Yep, as we can see from the bulging, there is definitely life underneath us, which could be a potential area for where this vegetation may be.
There you go. So the captain just advises that everyone just keeps on the path that they are heading. And before it gets too late, you would have to turn around and head back to the shuttle. So instead of wasting time, she orders that everyone just try to go a bit further. Mr. Drake, do you believe that perhaps this life that is underground could be heading towards the vegetation?
That would depend on, well, its eating habits. However, whichever way it's going, it's either heading to vegetation or heading to something that eats vegetation. So it might be a good option to try and follow this while being careful of the ground itself not caving in on us.
Very well, then we shall follow the path that it's setting for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you don't have to do any other fitness check because you already passed yours, Lieutenant Drake. So we'll get a little bit close. Don't be shy. What's happening here? Okay, and let's do that. Just plain run. Okay, after you finally round up on a rocky hill, you do spot, I wouldn't necessarily say a field, but it's almost like a small line of what appears to be some strange plants, pod-like plants growing out of the snow. Some of them you see are, the petals are still open, kind of half buried in the snow. Some of them are closed up completely and sealed.
It's like we found what we're looking for.
We have indeed. As you get closer, do your scans again. Let's see what you get for this. Thishran, are you going to scan with these as well?
Yeah, I think I actually am this time.
Now that there's a plant there. What y'all get? What y'all get? Okay.
2.
Got a 2, got a 1. Let's wait for Thishran. 1, got a 1. All right. So let's see. Drake, you gain 1 extra momentum to the pool from that. Everyone else was able to scan. You go up to the plants and you're scanning them. Let me take a look. The plants again, there's some of them are closed and looking like pods. Some of them are open. It's kind of hard to see on the image on roll 20, but they do look like they have the what is it called? The stigma and the stamen jutting out of it. The closed ones, you just had like the very top of the stigma, just like a bulb sticking out. As you're scanning it, you see that there's not really anything medicinal that you can tell, that you can pick up from your scans. But who was the one that got 2 successes? Who was the person there?
That
That was
me.
Drake. Drake, as you're scanning, and we'll say you're scanning along to the path of like the bulging ground, whatever was underground was taking, you're scanning along. You start detecting that there is other different plant life just down inside a crevice that's opened inside the snow, that these plants seem to be surrounding that crevice.
As in the ones we're looking at, or the new plants are surrounding the crevice?
So the ones you're looking at are surrounding the crevice, and the new one that you're detecting would be down at the bottom of this crevice.
Well, I inform the commander, not the commander, the captain of this, and then start making my way towards the crevice itself so I can see how deep it is.
Okay. The captain keeps doing her scan, knowing that you're looking for that. You step over to crevice. It's a pretty steep drop down. It's kind of enclosed. It's not a complete cave, but it's at uneven levels surrounded. It's sort of like a bowl, just sunken inside the snow. And looking down inside said crevice, let's open up. You do see what looks like reeds growing up out of the snow. And these ones are giving off from your scan, these ones are giving off signs of a much more high potency for like a medicinal herb type of scan.
Okay. Thadasia, I think I might, and Captain, I think I might have found the plants we're interested in. You might want to come and have a look at this whilst being careful of the edge.
Okay.
It's a steep drop.
Okay, she goes, takes a look. Again, you all still have 2 momentum left over in your pool. So if there's any kind of obtained information you want to spend it on, like that's all free for you to. The captain looks over the edge and she looks at you and like, I don't think I will be making my way down there. And she holds up her cane in front of you.
Wise decision, Captain. How far down does this reach? Can we see?
Looking down, it would probably be, if I had to say, it's probably about a 5-meter drop down inside there in the snowy bowl.
How steep are the walls? Climbable or sheer?
Some sides are a little more sloped and climbable. Some are, the side you're on is more of a sheer drop. But if you walk around again with how uneven it is, you could get an easier side.
Okay. How long's left of the day?
You would imagine, but just say you don't have to do a scan for that. There's probably about another 4 or 5 hours maximum.
And how long have we been walking?
Been walking for about 2 or 3 hours.
Okay, so we got some time. Cool. Then yeah, Captain, if you'd like, I can make my way around and trying to collect a sample of this plant.
Yes, please, Mr. Drake. Please get on that.
I will assist him as well.
Yes, I was going to suggest I might well destroy the plant and try to take a sample. Let's head around.
Just start firing out with the phaser. Why does
How
it
else am
keep
I supposed to
catching
cut it?
fire? Okay. Damn plants. Okay. All right. So the 2 of you start heading down that way. Fishron, you're staying with the captain.
Yes.
Okay. As the 2 of them go down, the captain waits until they're out of earshot. And without looking at you, but speaking to you, Fishron, the captain said, Lieutenant, I thought you might have been a little more eager to retrieve the plants as well.
Well, I'm going to let those 2 go after the plants first. I just hope these plants are the miracle that you say they are, Captain.
I hope so as well. It would be a great benefit for all of the Federation if we could find something to enhance our medical facilities.
All of the Federation, indeed.
Indeed. And with how eager you were to join this mission, all things considered, I wonder why you are not more eager to take a hands-on approach.
I just want to see this for myself.
Very well. If I may be perfectly honest, I am relieved that I'm not left up here alone on this precipice without someone to watch my back.
I'm not going to leave you alone, Captain. I'm not really fit for command, to be honest with you. Anything happened to you, I feel like I'd be the position we'd be in.
Curious, why do you think you are not fit for command?
I don't want to talk about it.
Very well. I need Mr. Drake and Mr. Thadagia to make a fitness thing to climb down. Well, it'll be easy climbing down. It'll be fitness to climb back up. That'll be it. So not yet. So you get down to the reeds. You see them growing out. They're covered in the frost, but they look very healthy for plant life. Scanning shows that it goes down to like a very bulbous root, similar to like a very large radish, you would imagine, the way it sticks up. I assume you're going to have to cut it out without any causing any damage to it. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So to do that, you're going to need fitness plus. Oh, I would say fitness plus science, because you don't want to cause damage to the plant. You want to make sure you do it properly. You want to make sure you do it without any harm to it. So you determine who takes the lead and who doesn't. So somebody would support. So you could tell me if you want to support differently than what the fitness and science would be. So who's doing this? Who is supporting?
I
this
will
might
do
be
it.
more you. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Tadachi, you say you're taking the lead?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a fitness and science, yes? And then
Yes.
Mr. Drake, how are you supporting?
I mean, I'll probably help with digging the snow out of the way and any physical labor he wants me to do. But I don't know how else I could assist.
Okay, well then if you're just basically doing the physical labor and then you're leaving the science up to him, you could do a fitness plus security in that by using your talents more for the heavy lifting and using his talents more for the proper.
How large are these plants? How many are there? And is there any reason to suspect that these are anything else than a plant?
With the scans you got, there's not really anything. I mean, they look like plants. There's not really anything that's showing that it's anything dangerous. Like I said, the scans are showing that these stalks are really full of like some very rich nutrients and things. You're detecting like no movement, nothing under there. It's just a very, very large root. And you would know that from anything, if you were to cut the reed itself from the root, you're basically killing the plant. So if you want the plant as a whole to stay, you would have to dig out the root. And the root is pretty big. It's pretty hefty. Okay. So Drake, if you're supporting, that's just one die you're rolling, whereas Tadagia is rolling 2. Tadagia, you also have the option of spending momentum for bonus.
Yes, I'm going to do that as well.
Okay.
Good choice. It would appear I'm clumsy in the cold.
Okay. Thadagia, you didn't roll the extra die. You said you were spending the momentum.
Yes.
Yes? Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't roll.
Yeah. Okay, what task roll? Right? I mean,
It would be task roll 3.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Task roll 3. All right, there we go.
Oh, there you go. There's the 2 you needed. Okay. So with the help of, oopsie daisy, with the help of Drake, digging along, and Tadagia making sure that everything is dug out properly. Yeah, you're able to free one of these. There's not a whole lot. There's not too many of these reeds growing up. Like there's maybe a clump of reeds related to just one bulbous root, and you're able to dig one up properly. It is pretty heavy. It is pretty heavy, Mr. Drake. It's probably at least 5 kilograms.
Oh, I can manage.
You can manage. Okay. And then climbing back up the wall to head on back. That'll be the fitness roll, particularly for you, Mr. Drake, because you're carrying the heavy thing. And you're affected by the cold.
How many momentum do we have?
You still have 1 left right now.
Yeah, I might want to use that rather than falling and killing the plant / myself. So yeah, I'll use that momentum.
All right.
Fitness and security.
Fitness and security, yeah. Difficulty of that is going to be because of the cold and because of the weight. That's going to be difficulty of 2.
Got my momentum.
I'm rolling security as well, right? Or is it?
Yeah, that would be fitness and security for you, or this could be one of the 3 times you swapped out with science because it's
Okay.
so it's you're using that. Okay, 2 times that. Okay, and sorry, I'm on the wrong window, so let me just take it quickly. Oh, Drake, look at that, you made it, and you got 1 momentum back.
Yeah.
Mr. Thadagia, no, you did not. You did not climb properly. So, and you got a complication as well. So, Mr. Drake, you're climbing up to the top. You're balancing the route with you, and you climb up the slope as best as you can. As you're directly behind you, Mr. Thadagia is climbing up, but suddenly the snow gives way under his boot.
Is it 2 for Thadagia, seeing as he's not really affected by the cold and not carrying anything?
Oh no, it's only 1 for him. It's only 1 for him.
Oh, so this is because of the red circle. The red circle.
Yes.
Okay.
So it sort of collapses out front underneath him, and while he's able to catch his balance, he kind of breaks off a big chunk of the snow, which would make it extremely difficult to go back down into this pit again, were you to need to retrieve another sample. So basically, Thadagia broke the best way down. Thisran, you witness this happening from afar, and it's no surprise to you that you leave it to other people and they kind of screw things up.
Obviously.
The captain calls out to you like, "Are you okay, gentlemen?"
I'm fine, ma'am, but Thadagia seems to be a little off.
But Thadagia, no injury to you. You're fine with that. You got out safely. All right. Now what's going to happen, everyone here? It's about 4 o'clock. We're extremely late on this. I wanted to take a break earlier, but I want to make sure we got as far as we got. So let's take a quick 10-minute break, and kind of restroom break you need to do. And then we're going to do the closing scene for the DeGrasse Tyson and for the Dawkins crew. And then we're going to wrap up the episode for the night. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good.
So quick restroom, 10-minute break, hitting pause.
Yeah.
I will
Bill, about how much longer do you think the episode will go on for?
probably about 30 minutes.
Okay, all right, that's fine then.
But my estimations are sometimes not to be trusted, depending on what happens with rolling and the things. But I'm guessing 30 minutes after the break. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Okay, 10 minutes. Be right back. Thank you, computer. All right, so back to the DeGrasse Tyson. Okay, now, Lieutenant Alder, is there anything you want to use that momentum for that we left you off on? You had 2 extra
You said I
momentum.
got two left. I suppose like the only things I can really use that for currently is to get some more information, right?
Yes.
So I suppose two pertinent questions that I want to find out about the ship are the weapon scoring. I want to find out the source.
Okay.
And I want to sort of find out the status of the ship's engines, whether they're salvageable so we could get the ship out with the people rather than having to transport them off, if at all possible.
Okay. Both of those you would be able to find. So the weapon damage itself, clearly it was fired upon them. It doesn't really match the resonance frequencies for the phasers or disruptors or anything that you know from local weaponry, but it definitely appears to be an energy weapon of some sort that has pockmarked the entire ship, causing a lot of damage and scoring to it. The engines itself that you're scanning, you're not scanning them from the exterior because you don't actually detect the engines from the exterior. It seems to be that's jammed inside of the anomaly. But scanning on the interior ship, it looks like the engines are offline, but even worse, it appears that they are damaged to the degree that they are likely emitting pollutions or pollutants into the ship's atmosphere, and it's probably making things very bad for the people on board.
Okay, so I can safely assume there's no way for us to extricate the ship out of the actual anomaly then.
Yeah, right now with what you know, there's no possible way of doing that.
Okay. That will be all then from my side, I suppose.
Okay, but you do have the translator completely operation now. You do have all the routines in there, so you will be able to do regular translations.
Commander Log, I've managed to set up a subroutine, so we should be able to do real-time communication between ourselves and the aliens.
Excellent.
I've also,
well done, Lieutenant Alder.
It would also appear that the engines have started leaking some sort of contaminant into the ship's atmosphere. So that could also be further complications. So I can definitely say time is of the essence with this. I've also set up a subroutine so through to your system there, your station, so you can also communicate directly with them by voice or text, whichever is easier.
All right, bring up a direct connection with them as soon as possible.
Okay, we'll do. And I start tapping away at my little station.
Okay, so that's a comms roll. You know what? Just do the comms roll to try to build up your momentum. It's going to be one difficulty because of the subspace interference, but that's going to be starship thingy. That's going to be communications and engineering as usual, and it's just going to be I believe a control and engineering or control and con, perhaps, because con is basically
control and con for me. Then I'm assuming, right? Yeah.
Let's do control and con.
Yeah. So you said difficulty how much?
What's that?
You said complication range would be
complication range is still one for this.
One, okay.
And let's see who is going to roll for the ship for me. Who wants to roll for the DeGrasse Tyson communications and what's this and engineering? Any volunteers? Any takers?
Yeah, sure, I'll get it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, is computers still sticking in as my focus? Yeah, I feel like that's almost like a cheating way of doing this every single time.
No, this one's not really a computer thing. You're just basically opening the communications. Okay, so this time, yeah, it's not
sensors or communication.
I'm sorry, it's communication. Yeah.
Okay, communication and
engineering.
Engineering, okay.
Because you're using the system. And just one, yes. So 3 there, and it was difficulty of 0, so you build up 3 extra momentum, bringing you to 4. The channel is open, and the alien ship respawns. You get them repeating their message that when it comes in, it's a very panicked voice, and there's a half-second stop before the translation finally kicks in, and they're saying like, please, if you are a sympathetic vessel, we have children, we have wounded, please, we need assistance. The air in the ship is becoming unbreathable. Please help us.
Can we get a direct link to any of the inhabitants?
Well, right now you just have the channel directly open to the bridge. So this is whoever's speaking on the bridge transmitting this signal.
To anyone, or so my command, assuming my link is open with them.
Yes.
To anyone aboard the ship, please respond. We've received your distress signal and would like to give aid as soon as possible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, we are receiving your signal. Please, we need medical assistance. We need help.
All right, we will have aid. Will be. Do we have permission to board your ship?
Yes, of course, but we do not have any medical facilities here. We do not have any supplies here. We need help.
A member of our ship will be with you shortly, and after they have checked, your current condition, we'll attempt to bring you aboard to give you any medical aid you might need.
Thank you very much. Please hurry.
All right, Lieutenant Alder, Lieutenant Velik, could the two of you go to their ship and check on them, make sure that there's no one that is in immediate danger, and anyone that might need medical help, send them back to our med base. And at the same time, after you've checked on everyone there, Commander Velik, could you please check on their ship systems to see if we can't get it running from there? And
Certainly, Commander.
Lieutenant Alder, if you could find whoever seems to be in charge on their ship, who their captain is, and communicate to them our desire to help and the abilities that we have to help them. Try to begin a plan on what to do with their ship and their people.
I will do, Commander.
Excellent.
Okay, so you're going to have to head to the transporter room, I would imagine. I have my yeoman here supporting me on the bridge. Okay, so heading to the transporter room. Let's see here. Both of you, let me switch to transporter room.
Oh, and take someone from the medical team with you.
Is Mark able to come with, Paul? The hologram?
No, unfortunately, he's stuck in the he can only operate within sickbay.
Do we have a no-name medical staff? I don't think so, right? At least on this sheet.
There's nobody that's created, no, but you could create
Okay.
one were you to need one. So somebody could make a supporting character to use for that.
We can't take Lieutenant Commander Ardun, can we? Or Arden, the chief medical.
No, the lieutenant commander rarely leaves sickbay, and as you all know by this point, he has some very intense anxiety issues that prevent him from actually doing a lot of his actual duties, which is why Lieutenant Thadagia serves as his representative on the senior staff. But yeah, there will be like an assistant, a medical assistant that will be able to join you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so you go to the transporter room, and Lieutenant Commander Velik, you are there as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Commander, you would know definitely by now with this distortion that it's this is going to be a very difficult and potentially a very dangerous transport for the two of you, and you're not detecting any kind of signs that the receiving ship has a transporter room of its own, which makes it even more difficult. So beaming the two of you over to there can be potentially very dangerous because they don't actually have a trained crew on the other side to support the beaming.
Okay, so I have to roll for this.
So you have to decide how you want to do this. You are either going to leave it to a junior to try to beam you all over, or you are going to have to decide whether you are going to do the first beaming to try to see if it actually works without killing Lieutenant Alder.
Let me do it first then, just because then at least I can show the underlings what to do.
Okay.
No pressure, no pressure. As long as I survive, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's okay
So-
if your insides come out on your outside.
Yeah. Sending people to the ship is going to be far more difficult than bringing people from the ship, but it's still going to be difficult on its own because they don't have a proper facility for transporting. Okay, so Mr. Velik, what you're going to have to do is, let me find the correct roll. Okay, so this is going to be a difficulty 3 transport.
Okay.
Actually, no, wait, I apologize. That's going from the ship to you. This is going to be a difficulty 4 transport.
Gosh.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so much better.
So it's going to be control and engineering to do this. You'll have now, since you're the chief engineer, you also have the again, you have your engineering support crew on you, which helps you out a little bit by knocking it down to difficulty 3 for you because you're constantly in command of them to support you. It's also going to be supported by the ship, with it, which is, I believe, sensors and what was it for? I don't know if I wrote that down there. Not sure if I wrote that down there. For transporting, I apologize. It should be on this sheet there. Transporting is sensors and engineering. Sensors and engineering. So who has not made some rolls in a while? Do a sensors and engineering for that. Mr. Velik, you have 4. You have 4 momentum if you want to spend anything, and you could check any other thing you want. Mr. Alder's on the pad, as well as a no-name medic for right now.
Okay, yeah, let's spend one of those momentum.
Okay, that'll give you 3 dice. Let's see. Any other I'm looking at the wrong page. Any other thing like a value or anything? Could use your determination or anything like that.
Let's see. I guess science holds all the answers, or experience brings wisdom. One of those would probably work.
Experience brings wisdom. I like that for just be like, well, we'll see what happens here. All right, let's try. Yeah, if you want to do that, you could use the regular determination to automatically get 2 successes.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So let's mark that down for you. Do you still want to use that momentum then?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, experience brings wisdom. And or if you don't want to use the momentum, you could buy it with threat because you're a bold engineering, which means you'd be able to re-roll it if it didn't come up good for you.
Okay, so let's do that. So knock the threat down by 1 then.
That raises the threat by 1.
Oh, raises the threat. Okay. All right.
But it keeps your momentum at 4. Brings wisdom.
Okay, that's fine. Let's do that then.
Okay, so now you're still rolling 3 dice. You already gained 2. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. If you do that, you would have to add 2 threat for the extra die because your determination counts as buying the first die. So the second die always counts 2 points.
Okay, so let's use the momentum then instead.
Okay. Well, it'll still be 2 momentum.
Okay.
Is that okay? So it's going to be 2
Yeah, that's
points
fine.
regardless. Okay. So 2 momentum instead. Okay, down to 2. And you get 3 dice. You can't re-roll any of these dice, though.
Okay, and that's still complication 3, right?
No, the difficulty is 3. The difficulty is 3. The complication range on this is 2, if I'm not mistaken. So complication,
What if-
yeah.
I
Complication
thought
range.
complication was difficulty. Where's difficulty then?
Difficulty is
worry
not
about
there.
that?
No, you just
Oh, okay,
look for
okay,
the
all right.
number of results. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Okay, there's the 3 you needed anyhow, and we're still going from the ship too. That's who rolled for the ship?
I can roll for the ship.
Okay.
Okay, sorry to bring that character sheet back. Okay, so this one is
It was again where was sensors and
Computers?
engineering.
Hmm?
Sensors and engineering.
sensors and engineering. Okay, 1-1.
Yes. Okay. So you got 2 successes from your determination, and you got 1 more success from your roll, and then 2 additional success, which becomes momentum. So you got the momentum back that you spent. But you initiate the transport, and I lost the. You initiate the transport, and then Mr. Alder and the unnamed agent, as is so far, fade out. You're showing your assistant, Lieutenant Commander Velik, what you did, which also means that if you want to spend 2 momentum to set a to set an advantage that now they know what they're doing, they could just repeat the task for you.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so that's the advantage of they know what's going on. So you set that over, you explain exactly what they did, they fade out. And just as you're about to walk away from the console, you get the familiar error beep with the blip, 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 blip. And you see the readings that the transport is being successful, but there is some strange reaction as they are going to the other ship, that you're losing containment of their patterns, even though the transport is by all means successful. But all the warning lights start flashing on your console that you're moments away from losing their patterns, that something desperately wrong has happened on the other side. And Commander Locke, at the bridge, you are starting to get the readings as well, coming up from there, that transport went off as a success, but you're getting the alerts that there is a huge problem happening with the completion of the transport on this ship.
Lieutenant Commander Velik, what's happening with the transport?
It's a very good question, Commander. I'm not quite sure what's the problem. What are the options I have here?
The options you have right now are to frantically start tapping the board in a panic as we switch scenes to the Dawkins crew.
Okay. Commander, I'm going to start panicking now.
Permission to panic. Okay. Okay, so going back to the Dawkins crew, just trudging along in the icy wasteland, you're returning back to the ship right now. Yes, sir.
Before that, I was
Yes.
going to suggest to the captain to bring one of the other plants with us as well.
Oh, the pod one?
The pod one, yes.
Okay. You suggest here, but these ones are much more massive. These ones are probably almost up to your neck with how high they are. So if you were to dig it out, it's going to take a lot of effort and dragging. You probably won't make it back before dark tonight. So if you're going to do that, you would have to return the next day when it's safer, when the weather's safer and the temperature's safer, and make the attempt then.
Okay, cool. We'll do that tomorrow then.
Okay. So that's going to be a possibility for tomorrow. Okay. All right, so you're heading back. Fidagia is helping Drake carry the large radish basically back to the shuttle. The captain is starting to get tired, but she's trying her best not to show it. Everyone's pretty exhausted by the time you get back to the shuttle, and by the time you're all inside, it's a relief to be in the warmth again once the doors close and the systems go back online. Captain sits down and takes a look at the plant. She starts scanning it with tricorder. It does certainly appear to be very rich in content. It's very likely we may be able to find something useful from what this plant has within it.
Something medical, right?
Definitely something medical. Definitely, these scans here show that there's a lot of potency for regenerative properties.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
She gives you a nod. Mr. Thadagia.
Yep.
I want you to do as thorough a scan of this plant as you can and let us know if we'll be able to grow it or maybe replicate it on the Federation planet.
I'll get on that right away. Captain, may I ask, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, your voice actually cut out, so it wasn't the captain. Okay, yeah. I must admit that I am maybe showing signs of wear, but if you are referring to what I believe you're referring to, Lieutenant, you have no need to be concerned.
Well, I'm going to administer this hypospray nonetheless to help calm your nerves, help clear your mind as well.
And I see why Dr. Ardon has you as his voice on the senior staff. Very well, Lieutenant, please. And she sits back and allows you to give her the treatment. She calls out to Thishran. Lieutenant, do you think we'll be safe here for the evening? Or shall we resume orbit?
I would probably suggest going back to orbit. I think we've got what we need here. We can always come back if we need anything else.
I think that's a very good idea. What say you, Mr. Drake?
I would agree. Currently, the weather's not too great for myself and you, Captain. Who knows what happens at nighttime here?
It's very true. Okay, prep the shuttle for launch. Let's regain orbit, and we'll decide what to do come morning.
All right, Captain.
And as you're prepping the shuttle for launch, you're getting everything set. I am spending 6 threat. And you start feeling the shuttle rumbling, just a little, trembling a bit, but it occurs to you that it couldn't possibly be the engines coming to life yet because you haven't gone that far in the systems check. But now it starts to become more and more noticeable. And Lieutenant Drake, Lieutenant Thadaji, and the captain, you start feeling everything trembling and shaking very, 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 very steadily, increasingly. Lieutenant?
Drake, did you forget to tell us something?
Look at my tricorder and do a quick scan. Do I feel anything?
You look at your
That would be
tricorder,
advisable.
and it looks like almost as if it's malfunctioning because like its proximity alert shows a giant blob where the shuttle should be.
It looks like something's coming up from underneath us, so you might want to put a foot down.
before you get that sense completed, the shuttle gets slammed by a huge force and everyone gets thrown into the air and the screen fades to black for the commercial. And that's where we're going to have to leave off for part 1 of episode 4. The Orphaned is the name of this episode. The Orphaned. Okay. All right,
this is what
gentlemen.
you guys get. You go and steal the spice, and the worms are going to get you.
Worms are going to get you. Worms are going to get you.